Welcome. This is Janisar Ahmed with the daily roundup of news from the US and around the world. First, the headline. Thomas Fire in California is now the largest wildfire in the state's modern history after torching 273,400 acres. At least 133 are dead in Philippines storm, confirms the official. Bangladesh came close to winning the Economist's Country of the Year award title this year. South Africa's African National Congress wrestles to elect new party leader. North Korean soldier defects across demilitarized zone. PTI will rid the country of corrupt elements, Qureshi tells public gathering in Thur. Now the details. Thomas Fire is the largest blaze in California's history. Thomas Fire is now the largest wildfire in California's modern history after torching 273,400 acres. The blaze has surpassed the size of Cedar Fire near San Diego, which destroyed 270,246 acres in 2003, according to the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, also known as CAL FIRE. CAL FIRE has compiled a list of biggest fires since 1932. Thomas Fire has devastated areas of Southern California since it began on December 4, fueled by strong Santa Ana winds in Ventura County. It remains as the third most destructive in structural losses, with 1,063 buildings burned, according to CAL FIRE. As of Friday night, the blaze was only 65% contained. Firefighters have been battling the flames for nearly 3 weeks in Ventura and Santa Barbara counties and are expected to continue working around the clock until January 7th, fire officials said. Currently, there are more than 2,800 firefighters trying to put down the flame. Improving weather conditions have helped firefighters in the past days. Higher humidity and cooler temperatures have decreased the threat of new fires, leading authorities to continue lifting evacuations that had forced thousands to leave their homes. About $110 million has been spent fighting the massive blaze, the fire officials said. This year has been the costliest for the wildfire in U.S. history. Damages have topped $10 billion, and that was before the current fires began in Southern California. Thomas Fire has burned an area larger than New York City, Washington, D.C., and San Francisco combined, and larger than any city in California except Los Angeles. One firefighter has been killed since the Thomas Fire began. Corey Everson from the San Diego unit of CAL FIRE was killed on December 14. At least 133 are dead in Philippines storm, officials say. Death toll from a tropical storm in the southern Philippines climbed swiftly to 133 on Saturday as rescuers pulled dozens of bodies from a swollen river, police said. Tropical storm Timbin has lashed the nation's second largest island of Mindanao since Friday, triggering flash floods and mudslides. Rescuers retrieved 36 bodies from the Silog River in Mindanao on Saturday as officials reported more fatalities in the impoverished Zamboanga Peninsula. It was forecast to smash into the tip of the western island of Palawan late Saturday, the state weather service said. The river rose and most of the homes were swept away. The village is no longer there, Tubod police officer Jerry Parami told a news agency by telephone. Police, soldiers, and volunteers used shovels to dig through mud and debris in a bid to recover bodies in Dalama, a farming village of about 2,000 people near Tubod, Parami added. Boulders brought down by flash floods were also buried around 40 houses in the town of Iago, killing at least 10 people, civil defense officers Sarapada Pascuan told a news agency. We have sent rescuers, but they are making little progress due to the rocks, he said. The Philippines is pummeled by 20 major storms each year on an average, many of them deadly. But Mindanao, home to 20 million people, is really hit by these cyclones. 8 other people were killed by floods elsewhere on Lanao del Sur province. It It was reported 4 people were listed as missing after being buried in landslides or being swept away by floodwaters, while more than 12,000 have fled their homes, they added. After slicing across Mindanao on Friday, Timin sped west over the Sulu Sea with gusts of 95 kilometers an hour. Timin struck less than a week after tropical storm Kayetak devastated the central Philippines, leaving 54 dead and 24 missing. Country of the Year. Bangladesh was seriously considered for the venerated slot. Bangladesh came close to winning the Economist Country of the Year title this year. 3 other countries, Argentina, South Korea, and France, were also on the contention for the accolade. The London-based weekly news magazine put Bangladesh on its list, citing the country's giving shelter to persecuted Rohingyas. It also mentioned Bangladesh's rapid economic growth and a sharp fall in poverty rates. We make mistakes. In 2015, we picked Myanmar for moving from larcenous dictatorship to something resembling democracy. We acknowledge that its treatment of Rohingya minority was disgraceful, but failed to predict how much worse it would soon get. This year, after more than 600,000 Rohingyas fled their smoldering villages to avoid being raped and slaughtered by the Burmese army, we are tempted to name next door Bangladesh as the country of the year for taking in so many of them. However, The Economist did not eventually select Bangladesh, saying, had it not crushed civil liberties and allowed Islamists free rein to intimidate, it might have won. The magazine picked France instead as its country of the year for Emmanuel Macron's victory in the presidential elections in 2017, defying all expectations. The struggle between the open and closed visions of society may well be the most important political contest in the world right now. France confronted the drawbridge raisers head-on and beat them. For that, it is our country of the year, it mentioned. Centrist Macron's been without the backing of a traditional party, followed by his startup Republic on the Move movement, winning the most seats in the National Assembly, was a stunning upset. Macron campaigned for a France that is open to people, goods, and ideas from abroad, and to social change at home, the magazine pointed out, adding that in the 6 months he and his party have passed a series of sensible reforms, including an anti-corruption bill and a loosening of France's rigid labor laws. The Country of the Year has been awarded since 2013, going to countries that have notably changed for the better over the past 12 months or made the world brighter. Christmas Eve promises to bring rain and wintry mix of slushy snow at night and continuing through Monday morning, reported a news channel in New York. The Department of Sanitation said it has issued a snow alert for the city starting at 10 p.m. Sunday, but before the wintry mix, the tri-state is wading through a rainy Saturday. In parts of southern Connecticut and southeast New York, the rain turned into freezing rain and icy road conditions. In Newton, 0.1 inches of the ice was recorded on Saturday, the National Weather Service said. Overnight temperatures will fall into the 20s and 30s according to storm team. On Sunday, rain is forecast along the coast and snow of a mix of rain and snow inland. Precipitation ends Monday morning. It will be a windy Christmas day, and highs are forecast to reach the low 50s. Looking ahead to the new year, both New Year's Eve and New Year's Day are expected to be frigid and dry, with highs in the lows to mid-20s. South Africa's ANC wrestles to elect new party leaders. Thousands of delegates from South Africa's ruling ANC party yesterday prepared to elect their next leader in a vote widely seen as a decisive moment in the country's post-apartheid history. Frontrunners in the tight race are Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa, a wealthy businessman, and a former minister, Nkosazana Zuma, who is President Jacob Zuma's ex-wife. With public support for the ANC falling sharply, the party, which has ruled since 1994 when Nelson Mandela won the first multiracial vote, would struggle to retain its grip on power in the 2019 general elections. He hopes to start voting at some point this afternoon, and the results will be out possibly tomorrow morning, ANC Deputy Secretary General Jesse Duarte told reporters. There are more than 4,700 delegates attending the conference just outside Johannesburg, which got off to a late start due to disputes over which delegates are qualified to vote, and further challenge may be lodged. Zuma, whose reign has been marred by graft scandals, will step down as ANC chief at the meeting but will remain as head of the state ahead of 2019 vote. ANC is still South Africa's biggest party by far, but 54% it won in local elections last year was its worst poll result since 1994. In opposition, the Democratic Alliance and the Economic Freedom Fighters are hoping to exploit the ANC's woes in the 2019 election, with one possible outcome being a coalition. PTI will rid the country of corrupt elements, Qureshi tells public gathering in Thar. Pakistan's Tehreek-e-Insaf Vice Chairman Shah Mahmood Qureshi on Saturday said that the people of the country have become tired of rampant corruption and inept policies of the rulers. Addressing a mammoth public gathering in Thar Parker's area, he claimed that the PTI would soon rid the country of all such elements. He said Thar, like the rest of the country, has changed and people of the desert region would overwhelmingly vote for the PTI and would not allow the PPP to rig the elections as they had done in 2013. Qureshi said both federal and provincial governments were claiming credit for the extraction of huge reserves of coal in Thar, but were tight-lipped about their jobs and other facilities for the people of the region. He said the continued deaths of infants and pregnant women were ample proof of corruption in governance of Thar Parker. He claimed that more than 1,000 schools in Thar remained shut and free ambulance service from Civil Miti Hospital had been discontinued due to a shortage of funds. He said it was a matter of great shame that infants were still dying of malnutrition and women and men had to travel miles to fetch safe drinking water despite the wastage of billions of rupees in the name of Thar. North Korean soldier defects across demilitarized zone. A young low-ranking North Korean soldier defected to South Korea across the demilitarized zone between the two countries early Thursday morning, South Korean officials said. The soldier, aged in his late teens or early 20s, was carrying a personal firearm when he crossed the DMZ in heavy fog just after 8 a.m. local time, South Korean authorities said. It is the second defection across the heavily guarded border in less than 2 months. Another North Korean soldier was shot multiple times while dramatically escaping to the south on November 13. No shots were fired during the latest defection, South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff said. However, more than 1 hour later, around 9:30 a.m., South Korean soldier fired 20 warning shots as North Korean soldiers appeared to search for the defector. The defector is in custody and is likely being questioned as authorities investigate the reason behind his defection and seek other information about his life in one of the world's most reclusive states. Another North Korean soldier who defected to the South Korea spoke to a TV channel in November about the harsh conditions endured by military servicemen in North Korea. Yang Hook said soldiers in his home country were dying of hunger and disease. There are countless soldiers in North Korea who cannot even walk because of malnutrition, told a news agency. UN is sending rice and fertilizer to North Korea, but not a single grain goes to North Korea's ordinary people. This is the fourth defection in 2017. In total, 4 members of the North Korean military have defected to the South Korea since the beginning of 2017, including 2 in June. Prior to this year, there has only been 4 defections from North Korea's armed forces in the past 5 years, 1 in 2016, 1 in 2015, and 1 in 2012. Thank you very much for watching. Watch us at www.millenniumtv.org and do drop us a line at info@millenniumtv.net. This is Janisar Ahmed signing off from Millennium TV USA. We are bridging communities worldwide.